I think I came out, started the match really well, served well, and returned well throughout the whole match. Had a little hiccup there in the fourth set, and then got it together, or in the third set, and then got it together in the fourth. So was happy with the overall result, and gonna hit the practice courts and do some fine tuning tomorrow, and be ready for the next round.
Great, congratulations. Questions, Michael?
Hey, Tommy, Michael Lewis again, writing for the Greenville paper. How are you?
Good.
Congratulations on the win. We talked last year at this time before the tournament how just getting that first win at the Open, how you always had so much anxiety coming here. And boy, things have changed in 12 months for all your great results in Australia and all that. How is your mentality is it just so much more relaxed coming in this year, or is it more pressure because you're ranked higher, or what kind of mentality did you have changed?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like the previous years coming to the U.S. Open, I felt overwhelmed. And then after I got my first round win last year, it felt like I had so much weight lifted off my shoulders, and I felt like free walking through the grounds here. And I feel the same way this year. I feel just happy to be here, and the support this year is on another level. Like, I've never seen it before, so it's a lot of fun to just walk around and go practice. Or obviously today's match was fun. I never had a group follow me all the way back from the court to Ash, so it was really cool. They were like cheering for me the whole way, just clapping. So that was a first for me, and it's exciting to see how excited all the fans are for American tennis.
Andrew.
Andrew Jones, ESPN Landscape, as you talked about with that Court 17 crowd being so great for you, that difference in that fourth set to get back to your top form, what gave you that mentality to be able to push back on that, as well as the things that you want to work on in the practice court for your exciting all-court game?
Yeah, I think I really wanted to finish it in 3 sets. You know, going deep in tournaments, it helps a lot to close out matches as quick as you can. Like I said, I had a little hiccup there, and then had a breakdown. I got broken first game of the fourth, and I just kind of took my time in the back of the court and really thought about how I need to lock in here, and it's not good for me to go 5 sets here. Like, I always felt pretty confident in the match. I never really felt like I was going to lose the match, but I was very happy that I got it done in 4, and really wanted to get it done in 4 after I lost that third.
Talk about going out to the Hamptons and having that big fishing excursion. Was that the biggest hole that you ever, by far, gotten in the fishing experience? How was that vibe?
No, it was amazing. I grew up fishing a little bit in North Carolina. I never really caught anything like that. Like, I think my max when I was younger was like 50 pounds or something, and that was the fish I posted with was 190, and then we also caught one that was like 350, but we weren't allowed to keep it. I think a lot of people think I'm like capping when I say that, but we actually had one that was 350, and it took like an hour fighting it, or maybe more. But it was super nice. It was really cool to get out there. Had a good training week and did some fun things, and it's like I said, like New York can be pretty hectic for me, and I like a little bit calmer environment, so it was a really good training week for me.
Chris.
Tommy, Chris Otto with US Open. Congrats on the win.
Appreciate it.
Doing something on late bloomers. And I don't know if you're the classic late bloomer, because I don't think it really took you that long to kind of hit your high ranking where you're at, but maybe more like Chris Eubanks and JPEG or others, good examples. But for you, I know it took a while since you made your slam debut, maybe 5 years until you broke top 100. A little while, obviously, to get to this ranking. So can you talk about what it was like for you during those periods, maybe where you were a little frustrated? Like, where did you find belief, and what kept you pushing forward, thinking that your time would actually come?
That's a good question. I think, I could dive into that and talk for like an hour on that one, but I think to give you a short answer, they were very frustrating times, but I don't think I ever like really stopped believing. I like kind of knew that I could make it. I just didn't really know how to do it yet, and I surrounded myself with a really good team, and I think that was like the key for me. Putting the right people around me, the right pieces to the puzzle, and it obviously it's a lot better now than it was. So I'm pretty happy where I'm at now. Obviously, want to keep moving up in the rankings, but definitely, yeah, I would say maybe not as much as some other people, but a late bloomer for sure.
Matt?
Matt Futterman from the New York Times. You mentioned the excitement of people trailing you, and I imagine on the court you're referring to the support you got there. So what do you do to sort of channel your mind, channel your breath, whatever you do to keep the focus and keep calm in those sorts of situations?
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to, like, routines, really. Through the match, you got to have good routines, and no matter if there's people in the stands or nobody there, like, you got to be able to do your same routines. I think the people at the top level of the game do it so well, and I mean, we all obviously watch them a ton, so I think if you, like, really watch them closely and their routines, you would be, like, super impressed with the way that they go about their matches. So I think that's something that I've really been working on. And obviously, you know, when you have a bunch of people there cheering for you, it's a lot more fun than, like, playing in 2020, you know?
Can you explain any of your routines or things you do? We all notice the racket twirls.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny. That is kind of like one of my routines. And it's funny, like, I feel like I'm only doing it when I'm playing my best tennis. I'm spinning my racket the most. But, you know, just taking your time, going to your towel, taking deep breaths, and having positive thoughts.
Richard?
Was there a time when you and Taylor were having so much success at the end of your junior career? Were the expectations at one point like it's going to happen overnight? Like this is going to be an easy transition?
I think it was a pretty easy transition for Fritz. But for me, like, I think I probably had a little bit of that mindset at 18, 19, 20. And then, like, you kind of realize, like, what it actually takes. Because in the juniors, your tournaments don't really start. Like, when you're at the top of the game in juniors, your tournaments don't really start until the quarterfinals. Like, you know who you're playing, and you feel like pretty confident you're going to win, and you're like, who's my quarterfinal match? Like, that's kind of the mindset that we all had in juniors. So it's very different. Like, in the pros, how deep it actually is. The players all the way up to 300 are good players. Everyone strikes the ball so well. So it's super small things that make the difference.
Hi, I'm Astra Bland with the USTA. Kind of going back to the match a bit, because you started off so confident and dominating. Tell us a little more about what was going through your head near the end of the second set and the third set.
Yeah, I started the match really well. I was actually really nervous going into the match. Yeah, I know. I tried to make it that way. But, yeah, I started serving really well, and that helps a ton. When you come out into a match and you're serving well and returning well, it takes a little pressure off. And what were you saying about the second set?
Oh, yeah, like what was going through your head in that sort of momentum shift? Because you kind of came out of nowhere and took the third set. So
Yeah.
what was going through your head? How did you
Well, I think,
get it back together?
Yeah, when you're playing really good level in the first set of a match, like, you always got to expect the guy to step up his level in the beginning of the third or beginning of the second. And there were some times in the second where he really did. And then once you get to the third, you're kind of like, all right, like, this is his last chance to step it up, and he's going to. You know, you have to be ready for those little changes in the match. And today I felt like I was ready for it, but then it kind of slipped away in there in the third. So in the fourth, I really, had to turn it on.
Michael, last question.
I mean, what did the Alcaraz matches you played this summer do for your confidence? And did it give you the kind of belief that, hey, like, I can go far at this Open? Like, I mean, beating him and playing him tough the other match, I mean, that guy's been on fire, and staying toe-to-toe with him like you did that give you confidence and expectations that you can get to the semis here, get to the quarters here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, beating the people at the top of the game would give anyone confidence, really. I think it's not like now I feel like I'm going to beat everybody or something, like, everyone's good and you have to really compete against every person that you're playing. but it's. I mean, a lot more people ask me about it. You know, that's pretty much the only difference.